Hello, I'm Tom Stapleton from the Wakefield Community Access Television Station. And today I have a guest that I am so thrilled to be interviewing, Dr. Kim Smith, who is now the Superintendent of the Wakefield School Systems. We're so thrilled to have you on board here. And I know that, and you must be excited too. But what I'd like to do is for some of the people in town or outside of town that don't know you too well, I'd like you to tell us a little story about the history of how you started here in Wakefield and how long you've been here and how you achieved this position.
Sure. Well, I'm thrilled to be here with you too, Tom, and I've known you for many years, and it means a great deal to me to be sitting with you here today too. So where does it begin? So I'm coming into my 30th year in the Wakefield Public School, which is incredible. And I have to say it's something I'm extremely proud of. I'm proud that I've been in Wakefield for the entirety of my career. You know, if I roll back the time, I came here as a very young woman in my early 20s, and I interviewed with Dr. Stephen Mayo when the central office was at the Galvin Middle School. And one of the things that I actually remember about my interview, my dad drove me up, and I was taking interviews all around. You know, he waited for me in the car, and I walked in and took my interview. And one of the things that I remember about it is that that I told Dr. Mayo that my goal or my dream was to build the best music program in Massachusetts. That's what I wanted to do, and that I really had this idea or this dream of staying in the same community, like a place that really loved the arts and was interested in the arts, and to spend my career in that place and really build something special and stay there with it. So even at a really young age, I had this idea that I wanted to give my professional life to a really a great community, and I found it in Wakefield, without a doubt. So,
well, you certainly did, and I know I can't speak for everybody in Wakefield, but I know a lot of people are really thrilled that you're in this position right now because of the of how you've built up this trust over so many years, and it's just amazing to see you in here. And one of the things I'd like to ask you is, when you were going through the ranks and everything, did you ever expect to be in this position as superintendent?
Not at all. Honestly, not at all. I really, as I said, I started out with this idea that I wanted to build this great music program, and I wanted to put Wakefield on the map. And we largely did that. And I say we because it wasn't just me. It was me and my students and the families and parents that supported the music program. I was a band director. We worked very, very hard. We started building up the numbers. You mentioned the trust. I think a lot of that was just working with kids and families over the years and really striving for excellence in the program. And that was, I had my eyes on the prize in terms of really building this gold medal band. And we achieved it. And as you probably recall, we won a number of gold medals, consecutive gold medals, you know, for 15 years in marching band and jazz band, and ultimately my wind ensemble. And we performed at Tanglewood, which was an incredible experience. And I would say it was probably, in terms of like leadership and kind of that piece of my career evolving, at one point I took over as the director of music K through 12, sort of supervising the whole district music system. And because of that role, I got involved with leadership meetings with principals and at the district level with the superintendent. I really enjoyed the leadership. And then my mind, you know, I really started broadening my thinking to beyond just music and to education in general. And I started really thinking about how exciting it would be to take a leadership role in the schools. So I was the band director in Wakefield for 18 years. And at about that time, the assistant principal position at Wakefield High School opened. And I threw my hat in the ring, and with kind of the idea that it would be something really fun and exciting to explore. And if it didn't happen, you know, I loved what I was doing. So really that was kind of that turning point. I did, as you know, I did get the position of assistant principal of the high school. And so a whole new chapter of my career really started. And it gave me this chance to work with all students, not just one group. And I continue to support and the music program, of course, and love it and cherish it. But I got a chance to go beyond that. So I was an assistant principal for 5 years at Wakefield High School, and during that time I pursued my doctorate in education. I thought that would be a really important piece of my education to couple with my experience. And really, even then, as an assistant principal, I knew at some point I'd love to be the principal of the school, and that I had really, not only at that point, fallen in love with the community of Wakefield, but certainly Wakefield High School as well. So, after 5 years of being the assistant principal, I moved on to the principal. Even then, I really hadn't thought about the superintendency, or at least not in any serious way. I think I've always been very focused, so I was very focused on what I was doing. And I was focused on just trying to create the conditions of excellence at our school and working really hard on that. And then at some, again, just it kind of evolved to the point where you just keep thinking broader. And I just started thinking about the Wakefield Public Schools as an entire system. And so when the opportunity arose, I took the opportunity to join Steve Zreich as his assistant superintendent, and then upon his departure, moved into the role of superintendent. So really the short answer to your question is no. I really never really thought about that my path and my journey would take me here. But I often say to students that our career journeys could take us lots of different places if you stay open to the experiences that are before you. And I think at the heart of it is my deep commitment and devotion to the Wakefield Public Schools. I think the journey just took me there based on that love of this community and the love and dedication I have to the school system. So.
Well, it certainly shows. Do you think the 2 years as assistant superintendent helped you to get to this point? Because at that time, Dr. Zreich, when he brought you on board or you accepted that position, it was just, I was really thrilled about that.
Yeah.
So, I was excited.
So interestingly, a lot of people, even including myself, I think about that. I think that I was an assistant superintendent for 2 years, but I was actually only assistant superintendent for 1 year. However, I think the reason it feels that way is during Dr. Zreich's first year, I was still the principal of Wakefield Memorial High School, and it was very early on that he and I just really established a strong professional synergy and partnership and started really working closely together. And he appointed me in I believe it was January of that year, so that we could work on hiring a principal. So really the second half of that year, I was really working side by side with him, even though I was still the principal of Wakefield High School. So I had 1 year, a full year as the assistant superintendent, and I think it was a great experience for me before becoming the superintendent of schools. I would say largely because I had an opportunity to really explore pre-K to 8, which because I had been largely in the high school, it just really gave me a chance to get into our middle school, into our elementary schools, and really get a close look at curriculum instruction and spend time with people. So it was a great opportunity for learning, and as you know, Dr. Zreich and I were very close personal and professional friends and colleagues, and I think we were a really dynamic pair. I think both of us felt that. It was special, and it was just an incredible opportunity working side by side together. But I think just in that, it really prepared me because we really co-constructed a lot of the work, so this just feels very seamless to me. It feels, in a lot of ways, I don't feel like I'm in a year 1. I almost feel like I'm entering a year 2 or 3 in this work, if that makes sense, because I've been such a part of it, I guess.
It really works out well there.
Yeah.
It certainly sounds amazing. Well, let me get to some of the meat of the subject here. What's new in the Wakefield Public Schools as we open on September 8th?
So I would say probably the most significant thing that we're really excited about and proud of is full-day, tuition-free kindergarten for all students. So that's new to Wakefield. It's special. At the Italian Festival this past Saturday, we had a big poster board, and we're really talking to a lot of parents and handing out brochures so that they really understood that Wakefield had really embraced this idea that all children should go to kindergarten for a full day and tuition free. So that's special. I'm really looking forward to the beginning of that full day program. From a facility standpoint, the Galvin Middle School is finished. So even though we spent the year last year, there was a section of it that hadn't been completed, and that is now completed. I absolutely cannot wait for the students and their parents to really get in there and see this beautiful full-size gymnasium. The students will be able to use for both physical education classes during the day and basketball and other events after school, both in the community and for the school. And there's a beautiful music suite that surrounds the back of the theater that will now be in use. It'll be a real change in the conditions at the school, because last year the music classes all had to take place in these project rooms, and we kind of had everybody just sort of placed together, and we weren't really able to use all of the rooms the way that we would have liked to. So now all of the music classes will be in this beautiful music suite. So we're really excited about that.
That must be amazing for you to look at. We have taken a tour and we filmed the new school, the new part of the gymnasium and so on, and we'll be playing that back. But it's just, I mean, I looked at this, it's just truly amazing. It's like,
it is simply one of the best middle schools, the best middle schools that I've seen anywhere. It really ranks among the most, innovative and forward-thinking, and much of it almost resembles a high school facility. I mean, it really is an extraordinary middle school with a full-size gym and a full-size gorgeous theater and beautiful project rooms and science rooms that are 21st century and a robotics area. I mean, it is incredible. And but you know what it makes me think of is when I was at the Italian Festival on Saturday, one of the very first parents that came by the Wakefield Public School booth said to me, that Galvin Middle School is incredible. It just goes to show that this is a community that cherishes its children. And to me, that's what it symbolizes, is that there's so much energy in this community right now for what can we do to make Wakefield the best of the best in terms of education for kids, and it symbolizes that. And of course, someone coming from the music career and all the years that I spent in that old auditorium, and I will always say that my students and I made some pretty beautiful, amazing music and theatrical performances in that old hall. But the reaction I had walking into the new auditorium, the people that were with me will tell you, it was a very emotional reaction to seeing the investment that the community made in the arts and in a true community center, and it really is pretty extraordinary.
It really is, and the thing I feel with the school being as new as it is and having so many advantages and all the different fields in town that have been done over. It's almost like Wakefield is on the map now. And we must be drawing a younger crowd in here. I mean, people who have young children, they have to look at Wakefield and say, look, we can't pass this up.
And those facilities are symbolic, as you say, the beautiful athletic fields and the Performing Arts Center here at the high school, and is really symbolic of what's happening in education. But even more than that, you've asked me what's new in Wakefield. I think in education in general, we're really, in the last couple of years, we're really beginning to put ourselves on the map. And, that's what, when I talk about this sort of relentless pursuit of excellence and really wanting to make Wakefield on the map, we have an amazing teaching core here in Wakefield, and we've been working on, you asked what's new, we've been implementing some new curriculum, we've been implementing some new professional embedded learning experiences for teachers. We're doing a lot of really innovative things. Just this morning, I was on the phone with the Department of Education, and we basically advocating for Wakefield to take this alternative pathway and educator evaluation that's really innovative. And I won't get into the boring details right now, but it actually, what I'm proposing is really exciting and very unique. And I feel very confident, Tom, that other communities and districts, as they hear about some of the innovative practices in the Wakefield Public Schools, I really think that a lot of them will follow. And I love us being in the lead, as opposed to being a community that kind of waits to see what other districts are doing and then following along. I think we need to be bold and innovative, and we're doing that. And it's exciting. Just in this last year, there were several state conferences, and Dr. Reich and I presented at multiple conferences this year about the things we're doing in Wakefield. And other people were sitting and asking us questions and getting excited about the things that are happening here in education. So both from a facility standpoint and from a curriculum and instruction standpoint, I think we're really beginning to emerge as a leader in the field, which is exciting.
Well, it certainly is, and like I said, I see it around town. I talk to a lot of people, and they come by the Gallivan, and also the fields now. Landrigan's been done over, and it's just a beautiful place to have the games and so on. And the tennis courts have been done over. So all these athletic fields, it's just a great place to be. And
and you mentioned, as you walk around the community and you kind of talk about, it got me thinking about partnerships, and I was just thinking about how Wakefield is out in front and really taking the lead. And another just example of how the community, not even just the Wakefield Public Schools, but how we've partnered together as a community to be out in front is the mental health collaborative that we've put together, and different agencies coming together in the community, the Wakefield Police Department, the Elliott Crisis Center, suicide prevention, our own Wake Up Substance Abuse Coalition, all of these entities coming together, partnering with the Wakefield Public Schools for the benefit of our children that are both school age and the broader community as well. So at the Superintendent's annual conference this summer, we were asked, one of the themes was social emotional health in schools, and we were asked to do a presentation. So we brought that collaborative in. And by the time we presented that, I went a couple of hours later. I went to a superintendent's roundtable for this region, and one of the superintendents who had come and watched this presentation raised her hand and said, Wakefield is doing it right. They have an incredible program for the collaboration, of a true collaboration between community and schools around mental health and social emotional behavioral health for kids and families, and we need to have them come in and present for us as a way to as a model, if you will, for other school districts. So I think as a community, we're really taking these really important steps forward in lots of different ways.
There's another thing too that is just coming around, and it's fairly new. It's the Human Resource Commission. I understand tonight, after we do this show, you have a school committee meeting, and we're going to be talking about that.
Yes, so it's a human rights
human
commission.
Rights.
Yeah,
okay.
Human rights, and there's another example of the community coming together. Last night at the Board of Selectmen, they want to participate and select members to be part of this commission and seated on that committee. And the school department will bring forward 3 members to sit on it, and a student from Wakefield Memorial High School. And the idea behind the Human Rights Commission is, Wakefield continues to expand as a diverse community, and one of our values really is that diversity just enriches a community. And it's a way to really establish a partnership around the rights of all our citizens, and it's a vehicle for change, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, it really sounded great last night.
And you'll hear about it again at school committee. Steve Mayo is coming to present to school committee tonight.
Right. Very good. All right. All righty. Let's see. I understand that teachers will be participating in professional development September 1st through the 3rd. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what they'll be working on?
Sure. So I think it's great for parents and students to know what we do as teachers when they're not in school. I mean, the students will still be on the beach and swimming and having fun, I hope, the first week of September. But it is good for people to know that the professionals are returning on September 1st, and we'll be spending 3 days together in a professional learning environment. All kinds of things going on. On day 1, there are a lot of state trainings that we all participate in around harassment and bullying, 51A, ethics, all of these, safety care trainings around like EpiPen use and allergies and things like that. So it's all kinds of trainings that teachers take on an annual basis. So we focus on some of those trainings on day 1, and teachers get into their classrooms and set up, and we get our opening meetings going. And then the next 2 days, there is just I would just call it a robust menu of things happening. The pre-K through 4 teachers will be largely delving into some new curriculum. We have new math curriculum this year, which is exciting. We have a new phonics curriculum for grades K through 2. We have a new writing curriculum for K through 4.
Wow,
So with all of those things on their plate, the pre-K through 4 teachers will be very busy preparing lessons and doing model units and making sure that they are really fully prepared to roll out that curriculum. At the grade 5 through 12 levels, they're doing a lot of work around establishing what we refer to as professional learning community teams. And these are teacher teams and the way they use student performance data to inform instruction. There's a lot of work that goes around the structures that make that work well. We're also will be looking carefully at inclusion practices and meeting the diverse needs of our students. The 5 through 12 teachers will be doing some vertical curriculum mapping and some horizontal curriculum mapping during that time. And that a curriculum map is kind of a plan for the year that's driven by the end outcomes and some of those kind of higher order thinking, pieces that we want to really address in the learning. So it's like really a planning. And then, of course, technology integration is a really big thing. We've got some sessions going on at this point now. One of the new additions is grade 3 will be one-to-one with Chromebooks, and last year we rolled out grade 4. So in grades 3 and 4, students will have access to Chromebooks all day. We have some Chromebooks in grades pre-K through 2, but it's one-to-one really from there through grade 12. At the high school, as you know, we're BYOD, which is a Bring Your Own Device program, and so technology integration will be a large focus of this professional development as well. So it's really, we have a lot packed into those 3 days, but it's all in preparation for when our students walk in the door.
Now, you may have touched upon this next question a bit, but what are some of your priorities for the next 2015-16 school year?
So I'll maybe address that in 2 ways. One priority is to continue the work that Dr. Zreich and I started with this, the instructional strategy, and we've really revised it and refined it, and with the leadership team over the summer, we've really created our action plans. So a priority in that strategy is quality teaching and some action plans around that, rigorous curriculum, and individualized student learning. Those are the 3 target focus points of all of our action plans around that strategy. So one priority will be to really, in the transition between Dr. Zreich and me, will really be to continue that work and continue that focus. But one piece that I would really like to look at carefully in my transition is to really establish the core values of the Wakefield Public Schools that support that mission and support that strategy and inform it. I'm a very strong believer that core values are they're really the rudder that steers the ship, if you will, and it really drives your practice. So we need to know, what do the Wakefield Public Schools stand for? What do we really care about together? What is it that the community, both the school community and the extended community, really want for our children? And what is it that we should really be focused on? So really what core values are about is it's about a clarity of purpose and it's about the culture of your practice. So part of what I'll be doing as a superintendent this year is really exploring and coalescing those values to really drive everything that we do. So I'm really excited and looking forward to talking to people about that. But I really expect a great year, and with all of the new things that are going on. And as far as I'm concerned, there's absolutely nothing better than the first day of school. I've been talking to teachers about it, and honestly, Tom, every year in the 30 years that I've been teaching, the same thing happens. Somewhere in mid-August, I start really missing our students, and I start getting those butterflies for the beginning of school, that adrenaline, and I can't wait for the first day. And when the students come in, they always have those. They pick whatever they want to wear for their first day clothes, and they come in with these smiles and this optimism and this hope, and I just believe that it's our responsibility to make that experience just amazing for our children, and that all of our classrooms are just exciting, rich places for kids to be.
Well, it certainly is, and I understand that feeling too, even though it's been many years since I've been in
remember what it was
school,
like.
but I used to love that first day. It was
Yeah.
just great and exciting.
Yeah.
But I do want to express one talent that I really think that you have. And a lot of times when subjects are being discussed, they get really intricate and they go into this deep, dark stuff area where you start losing people because that person is familiar with what they're talking about, but the lay person hasn't got a clue because they're not involved. But you have a way of delivering that in a very simple way, and it's easy to understand. And I think that's a great talent that you have.
Well, thank you very much.
I
appreciate that.
When you talk, I listen. So
I appreciate that.
It's nice.
Honestly, I do think that my enthusiasm for the work makes it, I think, maybe easier to understand, maybe easier to listen to. I do think that enthusiasm is the great driver, so I'm incredibly enthusiastic about what we're doing. I love what we're doing. I was talking to a teacher the other day, and I said, at heart, I'm a teacher. I'll always be a teacher. And in every role, even in leadership roles, you're really still a teacher. When you're a teacher in the classroom, you're a teacher of children. When you're a principal, you're really guiding your faculty. You're a teacher more in that realm, if you will. And then as a superintendent, I'm really the teacher leader of principals, the teacher leader of teachers, and the teacher leader of students. So I think part of what I think my responsibility is to be able to share with the community in a way, that everyone understands what it is that we want to do or are trying to do, so that it's communicated well, so that we're all on the same page.
Yep. Well, it certainly shows, I must admit, and the feeling around town, in my opinion, is that everybody is thrilled. It's thrilled. No pressure.
You know what? I
pressure.
accept that really in that it's mutual. I love Wakefield. That I never hesitate to say how much I love Wakefield. I'm very, very proud to be an educator in this community, and I'm exceedingly proud to have given my professional life to this community that I love so much. So,
well,
I'm equally as thrilled.
We're all thrilled, and it's just been a great interview. I'm so happy we got a chance to do it.
Thank you so much,
And I wish you the
Tom.
best in the next year.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.